Begin with the Pledge of Allegiance led by Government Affairs Chair Hunt.
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, welcome everyone on this snowy Monday. We'll begin with roll call led by Chief of Staff Peterson.
Senators Anderson,
Here.
Bolweg, unexcused, Bry, Christoffels, Derringe, Foley, Holland, Campson, Catanum, Lopez, Mollison, Podell, Roca,
Here.
Sharples Schmidt, Shrestha,
Here.
Siwa Cody, excused, Sleep, Smith,
Here.
Wallen, Warfa,
Here.
Diversity Liaison Alex, Communications Chair Ringenberg, Finance Chair Delahoyd,
Here.
Government Affairs Chair Hunt, Chief of Staff Peterson here, Vice President Sierra,
Here.
President Spear, AFA, unexcused, AISA, BSA, GSA, Hero, Honors College, IRC, LASA, RHA,
Here.
Unified Council,
Here.
Unified Council, UPC, Advisor Bylander,
Here.
Advisor Schmidt,
Here.
Advisor Willis.
Alrighty, moving on to adoption of the agenda. Are there any additions or corrections to the agenda tonight? Finance Chair Delahoyd.
I move to add the fiscal year 27 SA internal budget to the agenda under new business.
It's been moved and seconded to add the SA in fiscal year 27 internal budget, so just a new item to our new business category. All those in favor of adding this to agenda, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed? All right, agenda is amended. Any further corrections to the agenda? Seeing none, is there a motion to approve the amended agenda? Senator Christoffels.
Second.
All those in favor of approving the amended agenda, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Agenda is approved. Moving on to the minutes, are there any additions or corrections to the minutes tonight? I'm so sorry. Ooh. All right, minutes. Nothing? All right, is there a motion to approve the minutes? Senator Christoffels.
Second.
All those in favor of approving the minutes, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Minutes are approved. Okay, moving on to open forum item A, Chief Michael Drake, Brookings/University Department Chief of Police.
Good evening, everyone. So, as you know, and she introduced me, I'm Mike Drake. I'm the interim chief of police here at the university. I also serve full-time and have been the chief of police for the city of Brookings for the last 3.5 years since August of 2022. I'll just give you a real brief history of myself. I'm really an answer and question person. That's how you get to know me and who's going to be serving as your police chief, at least internally in the near future. But I'll just give you a little background to give you, kind of where I came from and how I got here. And that might help spawn some questions you have for me. So, born and raised in New York, you can definitely tell from my accent, especially if you ask me for coffee, because I'll say coffee, and people know immediately I'm not from around here, and then it tips off that I'm from New York. Born and raised in the Hudson Valley portion of New York, and where that's located is about 70 miles north of New York City. So if you're familiar with New York, the city is down below, and then Albany, the capital, is right at the Hudson River. If you were to go equidistant between the two along the Hudson River, that's kind of where I was born and raised, near Poughkeepsie, New York. Spent almost 48 years entirely there for the most part. Born to my mom and dad. My mom worked for the school district as a teacher's aide and a secretary. My dad worked for IBM in that area. I have a brother and a sister. I was the youngest. Moderate, very poor, middle class raised. My mother's family came from Italy. Her mother was actually born in Italy. So I'm second generation in this country on the Italian side, my mom's side. My dad was actually biologically adopted after his mother had given up for adoption. This was just while World War II was going on. He was born in the 40s. So I really don't know much about my dad's side, which means the Drake I come from. I really don't know much about it. Never really looked into it because I really didn't care beyond my dad. He was a great guy, somebody to model after. But his family, again, pretty modest. Most of the Italian immigrants were farmers. So we grew, mostly tomato farming, actually. And then we did have goats and different things growing up. So I graduated a high school class, about 120 students. It's called Highland High School. Really knew what I wanted to do with my career before I even got into high school. No one in my family was ever a police officer. And most of them were just either laborers or unskilled or skilled, but didn't do a lot of, there was nobody in law enforcement. And for whatever reason, when I grew up, I just always knew, I can't explain it, but I always wanted to be a police officer. I was drawn to that profession. So it made my life a lot simpler. When I got into high school, I played all sports. I played all instruments. My parents really forced that upon me, and I'm glad they did because I learned a lot from it. I was actually a drummer by trade. That's usually what I is, a percussionist. But you'll see me, I'll tap quite a bit. I'm really into music. But really what my growing up, I was a great baseball fan. I really loved playing baseball. My freshman year getting into high school, I got into the batter's box, and Benny Bragg was the pitcher, a friend of mine. And in high school, he could throw 92 miles an hour. Him and I always had, I batted cleanup, I was the catcher. we were getting ready for the All-Stars, just ready for high school tryouts for varsity. I was in the batter's box during a pre-warm-up game, like a friendly. And there was a runner on first and third. I checked the signs as I was getting into the box, but didn't realize I was standing in the box. And Benny wanted to cheat me, so he threw me a heater. It caught me right in the cheek. Shattered my cheekbone. It looked like a spider, shield, like if you throw a rock against a windshield. It really damaged my career. As anybody can know, in the batter's box, when you start flinching, you're no good to a baseball team. So I couldn't really do that. So what I did is went to my second love, which was soccer. And I will say that God works in mysterious ways. We won the state championship that year in 1987. My first year on it, we went undefeated. I then went on, and it really became, I have three things in my life that I love dearly: my family, my profession, and soccer. I would say football. Y'all think I'm talking American football. I don't even know who's in the Super Bowl, and I don't care. I apologize. I'll be right up front with you. I think it's like the Seahawks. I know it's never going to be the Browns. I'm sorry if you're from Cleveland. I just know that that's never happening. But it was just something I grew up with. And the other love when I was in high school was chemistry. I just adored chemistry. It's one of my things that I had an affinity for. And it was probably because I was pretty lazy and it came pretty natural to me. So I actually got an academic scholarship to go to Marist University in the Hudson Valley. I played Division I soccer there, and I got also a partial academic ride, half scholarship, where I also took up chemistry. So chemistry was my undergraduate. And I was so advanced in my career, in my academic career, that I could take a dual major and I did criminal justice on the other side of it. When I graduated, the first thing I wanted to do is become a cop. So while I was in school, like I said before, I wasn't the richest kid. I had to work 3 to 4 part-time jobs to put myself through school. One of them in January of 92, I had a friend of mine that asked if I could be a dispatcher for our local police department. And I'm like, sure. Do I get paid to do my homework? That was the first thing I wanted to know. And they're like, yeah, sure. As long as you answer the radio, nobody gets hurt, and you do some paperwork, we'll be good. So in January of 92, I began my career. And then when I graduated college in 95 with my degree, I already had 3 years as a dispatcher, part-time. And I got sponsored by the local police academy. In New York, it's a little different. You have to kind of self-sponsor, go through the police academy, then go through civil service and hope that somebody hires you. And eventually that happened. I had a lot of influences in college. I applied to a lot of different agencies. At one point, I was processing for NYPD, LAPD, the FBI, and the New York State Police, and actually Boston. And at the same time, Los Angeles Police Department had made an offer for me to go through their academy just upon graduating from college. And I had just graduated the Municipal Police Academy. And I was like, well, now it's really going to happen. I'm going to be an LAPD cop. This is going to be wonderful. And then fate stepped in, and the New York State Police came calling. And so I went through their academy in October of 1996 upon graduating from college the year before. And I entered the New York State Police Academy. I was briefly a local police officer for a year or so before that, like city, probably the size of Brookings, but the violent crime rate was extremely high. When you're a 21-year-old police officer, there's nothing more interesting than being in a high crime area because you feel yourself you can make a big difference. Went to the New York State Police Academy, and then I spent the next 26 to 27 years climbing through the ranks of the New York State Police Academy, or New York State Police. In New York, it's a little different than South Dakota. It would be like your DCI and your Highway Patrol merged together. So that's kind of how that department works. Rose up to the rank of major or acting staff inspector. There were only 11 people out of 6,000 that outranked me in that department. Moved through a lot of different things, but where I found my wheelhouse and I was most comfortable was working homicides. I did homicides for a better part of my career throughout New York, and I was blessed to go through a lot of things. And I'll let you ask questions because I think it'll be easier when you ask, well, what were you doing when September 11th? Well, probably when you were born September 11th, but I'm not saying that to disparage you. But ask those questions where I was or what I did throughout my career, so I won't go through all of it. But I had a blessed career. I retired in 2002 knowing that I was kind of at the top of my game and wanted to then go and share what I had. Plus my two boys were out, like in college, almost out of college. And my wife, who's here with me, who works for Avera here, she was a nurse back in New York. We kind of had the world at our feet, saying, hey, we could do whatever we want. So we ended up in Brookings, South Dakota, where I became the police chief. And my wife, Robin, is a nurse at Avera in the infusion clinic that works in the hospital. And to me, I'm not done yet with my career. I love my profession so much that I keep learning all the time. Went back and got my master's degree. Ended up number one on the lieutenant's exam out of 600 people taking it in the state of New York. I was number one. Not because I'm smarter, because I was more determined. I wanted to be the best in my profession. I went to the FBI National Academy. I'm going to recently graduate from the executive education school from Kennedy Business, or the Kennedy School at Harvard, in another month. I never give up, and that's one thing I would leave with you is don't ever give up learning. When you do, when you think you know it and you're at the top of your game and you know more than everybody else, you're failing yourself. So that's kind of just me. I'm married. Robin and I went to the same high school. She knew what she was getting herself into. So it's her fault. So if you hear any disparaging remarks, it's her because she knew who I was when we got married after college. We actually didn't date till after college. But we have two wonderful boys, Ryan and Colin. Ryan's in his last semester at Lincoln, Nebraska Law School. I think he wants to go into intellectual property law. He was also a chemistry undergrad, much smarter than I was. And our younger guy, Colin, is a computer programmer for IBM in Poughkeepsie. And he's attending his graduate degree program through Georgia Tech right now. He lives back in New York. So with that, I don't want to stand up and keep boring you with everything, but I'd like to hear some of the questions you have, because I'm sure you're interested in other things, especially what we're doing here at UPD. So with that, stand for any questions. Yes, sir.
What are some practices or policies that you do with the Brookings Police Department that you'd like to implement or see implemented at the UPD?
Yeah. So one thing I can say, and that's a great question, my job is not here to bring Brookings Police Department to the University Police Department, but there are some generalities that we share that's common in our profession, right? So what I look at is, what can I bring here that not only have I brought from Brookings, but from my experience in any policing that I've been, whether it was Monticello Police Department, the New York State Police, or the City of Brookings Police Department, I always look at being more professional, being more concentrating on your customer base. Doesn't matter who they are, but they're going to want certain things and they're going to expect certain things from you. So focusing on your customers, which would be the students, your family, the faculty and staff here. That's where I would start with the customer, and that changes the culture of the department. So I don't know that I'm going to bring the culture of BPD here, but I want to make sure that UPD, their culture fits with what you folks want, with what your family wants, with what the staff wants here. And then secondly, I think some of the things I've learned over my career, and I did bring to BPD and I'll bring here, is more of a professional business standard. So when you look at the professional standards, we want to make sure we are accredited here, but we're not in BPD. But what goes with that is self-assessing and auditing and doing those critical internal audits and bringing some of that internal affairs piece and accountability to police officers, which does go hand in hand with culture. Those are the two things that, however long I'm here, that's the first things I want to implement. And that I would be bringing with me not only from Brookings, but throughout my career that I could tell you is very successful. Great question. Yes, sir.
Thank you for your many years of service to this community and others. Question for you.
Sure.
The former UPD chief heavily criticized about department communication with the press, the public, and the students here. Is there any changes going on in department communication?
Yeah, while I'm here, and I can say this, and again, being the interim chief and probably not the permanent solution from what I'm hearing, what I look at communication is transparency. If I know information and it's not harmful or confidential, which very seldom there is, you all should know. So we just recently made an arrest in the city of Brookings for an animal cruelty case yesterday. I can tell you all about it. There's certain things I can't tell you. I can't tell you certain things that are integral to the search warrant, because that can tamper with you guys could be potential jurors. So, but the things you would ask me, you should know those things. My communication standards as far as being the chief of police or representing a police agency is to be upfront and honest with folks. Not just because we have to meet Clery standards or Title IX, but because you should know what's going on when something's happening in the halls or on the side or within our campus community or that impacts you every day. So I want to take a more proactive stance, and I'm still in the midst of it. And no offense, I've only been here 4 weeks, but we have a meeting tomorrow and some of that we're going to cover. I did meet with the Collegian already and did an interview. I'll do 1 million interviews with the Collegian. When they call the city, I'm always available. I make my staff available because you deserve to know, and that expectation is you make decisions every day based on your safety and security. Your parents do. The staff does. If you don't know, how can you possibly make a decent decision about your own welfare on campus? So my thing is ask and I'll tell, but if I can't tell you, I'll explain to you why I can't tell you. If that makes sense. Yes, ma'am.
You're currently the interim chief police, so how long does that interim position stand for you? Will it go to yourself, someone else? And could you just kind of clarify more on that process for the city and what this university can expect?
Yeah. So from what I can tell from what the university is expecting from me is it could be a week, it could be a year, but I want the university, and they agree on this, is to take their time to get to the next step. The worst thing you can do in something like this is rush along one of these decisions. Let's get a chief of police and an AVP and safety and security, and let's fix all these problems, right? But what if we get the two wrong people? What if we don't take our time when we make those mistakes and we have conflict or it makes it worse? I plan on serving as interim police chief here for as long as the university wants me and as long as the city will allow me to. So I don't really make those deals. That'll be between the folks in the university and the folks in the city. But what I've been told and what I've been recommending is take your time. Make sure the process is right. Make sure you get the right people. Make sure that everybody's involved in making those decisions so that we're not rushing and making mistakes. So I'm planning on being here for as long as they need me. I know that there's no real set timeline, and I think that is in part and parcel. The university is really being methodical about this. They want someone that's going to come in or that next step because they want some consistency. I know what my job is. It's to do some of the things we talked about. I want this place to be better off and to be set up for success. So when your next chief comes in, your next AVP for safety and security comes in, that they already have a good blueprint to follow so that they can be successful when they hit the ground running. And I wish I could tell you when, but I just know that my recommendation is to take their time, go slow, try not to make those mistakes, and then get the right people in those right positions with that right blueprint. And I can't imagine they're going to fail. Yes, sir.
Also, going back to his question, and also, first of all, thank you for your service.
Appreciate it.
As an interim chief right now, what are the areas that you see that needs development or improvement within the UPD?
Yeah. Great question. You're going to get a sneak peek because the supervisors aren't getting this till 2:30 tomorrow. So if you talk about transparency, right, you're getting it before the supervisors in the department are going to get it. But I did precursor it today and kind of give them a peek at it. You know, some of those things that I really, and not that they're doing things wrong, right? It's just sometimes we get so entrenched in what we do, we don't realize why we're doing what we're still doing. Things could be easy if we go back to 1923 and go back to the horse and buggy, right? But why don't we do 21st century policing that was recommended 10 years ago? A lot of that is based off of customer service. What do the students, the family, the staff, the faculty want? What can we provide? And I'll say more approachability, right? Not so much isolation. I'm a big bad cop. I'm here to, not that they have this, but a lot of cops have that us versus them mentality. I want to get rid of it if it's here. I don't see it as much, but I want to make sure that your interactions with them, albeit if you're a suspect or you did something wrong, on your side or your perspective, it might not be the best. But I want it to be the best of the worst, if that makes sense. We can still be professional. We can still treat you as a customer. And I really want to see it as more of a, I know we talk community policing a lot, and that term gets used and get thrown around, and then I don't know that they become numb to it. But what I want, and the first thing I did when I got here is when I walked into the University Police Department, and I hadn't been up here in a while, I walked through the doors, and has anybody been in the lobby of the police department here? The first thing I saw was one-way mirror tint reflected back at me. I couldn't even see a human being other than myself. And I was like, man, that's a little strange. And again, don't know why, but look at it, not pointing fingers, not disparaging why they would have done it. And I'm walking up and I'm like, hello, is somebody back there? Is it a one-way mirror? I'm the new chief. Can you let me in? And there are like 10 of them standing back there. I don't know, maybe there's one of them. That to me, right off the bat, not even being involved in policing is something that really reeks to me of not being friendly, not being transparent, not being open. You want to be able to walk in when you're in distress, when you need directions. Maybe you lost your wallet, maybe your computer got stolen or hacked, or you want to walk in and see that customer service rep. Hey, how you doing? How can I help you? Right? I didn't even get that far when I walked through the doors. So within 36 to 48 hours of me taking over, that window tint came off the window. And just those little steps, but explaining to the staff why. Because that's important, because they're like, well, that's for our protection, and they're not, that's true. But can we do other things to provide the protection to our staff? Make those little changes, and I'll explain the why. I'll tell you why, and I'll tell them why. And then tell them, well, go on the other side and look. Well, yeah, but that's because of this. Okay, but now I'm just me. I'm Mike Drake, and I'm lost. My kids, something's happened to them, and I walk in, and I'm like, what am I, in an interview room? Am I being interrogated? Is there somebody back there? And when you explain the customer service piece, one, it lets daylight through now. So I'm like, your morale will be up, And then the other part of it is just now you're seeing and meeting that person, that attendant that's on the other side, who's a human being just like you are, and you get to immediately make that connection. So that's some of the things we're looking to do right away. Those are easy questions. Come on now. Yes, ma'am.
How's the restructuring of if you can comment on, how's the restructuring of the UPD under the Vice President Green looking like right now?
Yeah, I mean, I didn't know anything different because I came in after as they restructured it. And so she's my boss, and that's who I answer to as VP Green. I think the department's receptive to it. It's always a little tenuous for change, right? But universities, in my experience, always do things a little differently when it comes to public safety. It can be under facilities, it can be under IT, which it was, it can be under general counsel, there's a lot of different ways to go about it. And my experience is when you do those and you make those changes, as long as it's explained to the department and the staff why it's being done and a change to it, because people automatically go, well, she's general counsel, she's an attorney, but there's more to that if you meet VP Green. She is also a dedicated professional. And I think when you meet with them, and we had those all staff meetings already, myself, President Dunn, and her, met with the staff of the police department, it was well received. And really what it is employees, and even if you're a police officer or you're a nurse, you want to hear from the bosses. You want to hear from the new guy, right? The new person there, the vice president, the president himself. They want to hear, and I thought it was very well received with the new design. I think it's going to be a hit. I think putting that AVP underneath to have more hands-on, 3 different units, but have that buffer, and then having a chief of police. I really do think that that's a recipe for success to do. You already asked one. Oh, go ahead.
The second one, yes.
Yes, sir.
Former UPD policy was that they would not jump start cars in the wintertime, no matter how cold it was. Are you considering reinstating the policy?
Yeah, I mean, the simple answer to that would always be yes, right? We're out there to help customers. But from my perspective, you do have to look at the liability also. So I know this might sound lawyerish, and I am not a lawyer by chance, but you are working for an employer. So a lot of those things are, even though we believe that, hey, look, I'd help you do whatever, man. Let's push your car. Let's do those things. I think it's worth revisiting. I think it's something we need to, there's other things, lockouts. When you lock your keys in your car, I think that it's worth that discussion with the university, with VP Green, with some of the staff. I can't promise you those things because there is a liability piece to that, right? If I've never been trained that way and it's outside the scope of my duties and I'm trying to help you, it's a good Samaritan thing. And one of us, God forbid something happens or it's to you or the car, the liability does fall back on the university. So I don't want to say Mike Drake's here and he's going to jumpstart your car today. What I would say is I definitely have no problem revisiting those conversations. I love pieces like that. When I was a New York State Trooper, I used to help an old lady on Sundays carry her garbage pails up because I used to see her. Not in my job description. If I slipped and fell, the New York State Police would probably be angry at me because they're like, Mike, you're a New York State Trooper. Why are you helping an old lady back in the 90s? Not now. But I think there has to be a discussion before we just start doing some of that because there's training and there's things behind the scene that we could open the university up to liability. But I'm definitely willing to have those customer service piece conversations with the university because it goes beyond that. It goes beyond helping somebody when they locked out or their keys are somewhere. So there's other pieces to it. Do I push your car? Do I help? Do I hurt my back and I'll get workers' comp? I don't want to say that that's too lawyerish and liability, but we do work for an employer, so I am not the end-all be-all, but I will have those conversations. Great question. Yes, sir.
It was mentioned before that you don't want to just bring the BPD
Yep.
here, but want to kind of form the UPD into something that we're kind of proud of as a university that aligns with our values. I'm just wondering, do you have any specific ideas or strategies in mind for gauging kind of university like public opinion
Yep.
of UPD or working with Students Association to better change things? Do you have any specific ideas or strategies in mind?
Yeah, I mean, I'm a people person, so when I got asked to be here, I dropped my plans. This is date night for us. We're here. That's how exciting my life is at 52 years old. But yeah, it's getting out and hearing. It's not just surveys are great, right? Putting it out, but you're going to put out, and the same people that answer the surveys are the same crowd you're going to get. You're going to get 20% that are always going to answer a survey. You might get another 10%. I want to hear from all of you. So getting out to these meetings, getting out to smaller meetings, I have them lined up. I've only been here 4 weeks. I'm not probably going to be your permanent chief, but I do want to hear from those user groups, from those customers and stakeholders, whether it be staff or faculty or students or even your families. How can we better serve you in public safety? That's important because I can miss the mark because municipal policing is different than state and federal policing and county policing as it is from university. Yeah, we're all cops. We all get the general gist of things. But like I said, we're serving you folks. What do you want in your police department? How do you want them to greet and treat you? How do you want them to appear when they dress in their uniforms? Do you like the cowboy hats? Do you like the black uniforms? Do you like certain things? Those are things I need to hear because even if I'm not going to do them, the guy or gal that's going to take over wants to hear them or should because that's part of that blueprint. So I would say I get out all the time. I'm actually spending most of my time up at UPD and wandering around. The infrastructure and BPD allows me to do that. I still share a lot of those responsibilities. I'm still kind of overseeing both. But my thing is being present here. If I'm not here, I can't hear from you all. And I do. I wandered around, and that's why we're having that supervisors meeting tomorrow, because I have already gained some of that knowledge, some of those expectations from y'all, and now I want to make sure that they get it. And then and that's my job, is to keep doing a lot of that stuff. And hopefully the sergeants and the officers will start collecting that data just by those personal interactions every day and reporting back so that we can keep changing when we need to. Great question. Yes, ma'am.
I know like some students have been hesitant to use the UPD services in the past because they have, kind of this preconceived notion that they might not be there to do the part of serve and protect.
Yep.
Love the cowboy hats, by the way. But is there any thoughts you have that might address that to make them more approachable or?
Yeah, that's part of the culture we talk about. When police officers join the ranks, I can remember myself back in the early 90s, it's go get the bad guy. Go get the bad guy. And I think that sometimes we start living that constantly. That's 1 to 5% of your job. And then when you start evolving and realizing it's this, jump starting your car, it's grabbing those garbage pails, it's going and finding a lost wallet at the library. That's going to take time because culture is really impressed into the university police. And it's not to disparage them, but if it's all you know and it's what we've been doing for the past, the chief here before me had been here for 20 some years. It's his culture that we're still looking at. Not right or wrong, but there are things where I'll ask a question, hey, why do we do that? Well, it's the way we always did it, chief. That's not an answer I want to hear. Why do we do it? Explain to me in words that I can understand. So I ask a ton of questions. Maybe it's that chemistry analytical part of me. I was a homicide detective. I want to know the why. Why are we doing these things? Why? So I'm trying to just maybe piece by piece instilling in them, you don't always need to scowl at someone. You don't always need to be that big tough cop. Sometimes it's just like, hey, what's going on today? You need your car jumped? I can't do it, but let me get you in touch with somebody that can. I think they have it in them. They've maybe never been shown that, or maybe it's always been forbidden, or maybe it's the staffing. I want them to be approachable. That is the whole point. When they're downtown, the BPD cops, they didn't want to go on foot patrol. I didn't care. I did ask them. We talked about it. But I know being down there, smiling once in a while, being approachable, taking photos with people, appropriate ones, it goes a long way. I'm a human being. I brought my wife with me if you have any questions for her. I'm just like you all. My sons are 22 and 24. They go to college. We've all been there. I've gone to college. I want you to see me as Mike Drake. Yeah, I'm your chief of police, but you all have positions here. You all have a purpose officially, but I see you as human beings. Your car doesn't start, something else happens, you lose your wallet, your laptop gets damaged, or God forbid you're a victim of a crime. I want the cops to be, they're not always going to be your friend. They're not going to do exactly what you want them to do all the time. But I want you to know that when you go to that police officer, they are there to help you. Not just be like, not my job, not my problem. It is their problem. If they can't jumpstart your car, I want them to stay with you and find out who can jumpstart your car. I want them to help you solve your problem. Give those resources to you. Not just like, sorry, bro, not my problem. Let me go get the next speeder or kid using a fake ID. I want them to help. And that's a change in culture we're talking about. It's not that they didn't provide those things, but sometimes the purpose and focus from the chief of police sometimes is, let's focus on this. Let's focus on tickets. Let's focus on drunkenness. I focus on everything, unfortunately. My focus is on customers and giving them the service that they want, to make sure that we're providing those things to help you. That's what we're there for. Whether it's the security end of it or law enforcement end of it or just reuniting with you or helping play mechanic or getting you what you need in those resources. No one cares when your car is broke down and it's negative 45 who helps you as long as they help you. I want it to be us that you turn to.
Further questions?
Yes, sir.
What differences do you see between NYPD and Brookings Police Department? What's the difference?
It's negative 45 here all the time. Are you kidding me? No. Yeah, everybody, that's a great question. Coming from New York to South Dakota, again, it was a welcome change, the hustle and the bustle that we experienced all the time. I oversaw New York City and Long Island in internal affairs. So it wasn't the greatest job. Doing search warrants and those things on your own people down in that kind of climate. But it's a hustle and bustle. New York is always like, when they say the city that never sleeps, it's the state that never sleeps. But after a while, this hometown in Brookings is very much like how I grew up in New York, my wife and I. Very small. The house that we had in Gardner, my wife and I, before moving out here, was actually on a horse farm with mountains in the back, and we were only 70 miles north of New York City. So we had a little bit of the cowboy hattish. I did have cowboy boots before I came out here, actually. But the culture itself is, you all don't take each other that seriously where we get so offended at each other. We can still smile and say hello to each other. It's very neighborly. It's very welcoming. Not saying that New York isn't always, but there's so many people. You're so living on top of each other. You are constantly racing just to get things done. Like if I say hey, I need this. Well, when do you need it? I needed it yesterday. Why didn't you get it done? That's New York constantly at every pace. After a while, you have to take a breath or you'll miss life. And so coming here has been great. It's been a way to reconnect with my family who took a lot of beatings during, not physically, but while I was a cop, I was never home. We had homicides all the time. I was running around. You can get burned out by that. We have a lower crime rate here. I love being the chief of police here. I can focus on what we just talked about. It's not always great chasing down homicides. Who wants a brick thrown at you from a 20-story building when you can't see it? This guy does not. Maybe when I was 21, I don't know. I was probably less smart, but I look at this as the changes in the culture. What you all have here is very valuable. I hope you know that. I know you all think to yourself, if you were born around here, can't wait to get out of here. Got to get to New York City. I look at it a little differently. Value what you have. You know, value why you're here and what you have, because New York is great. It was great growing up, but it got to a point where it was too fast for me anymore. It was too quick. The pace was too heavy. There were too much crime. There was too much crime. There was too much of a lot of things. And coming out here, I feel rejuvenated. So the difference really is in just the fact that I get to enjoy my job a lot more. I get to enjoy my family a lot more. I think I make a bigger difference in policing, mentoring these folks here and in BPD and in the county maybe more than I would have in New York, because it was the race to get the next thing done instead, if that makes sense.
Thank you very much.
Yeah,
We very much
appreciate it. Appreciate it. Thank you.
Great. Moving on to open forum item B, the Hobo Day Committee annual presentation.
Hi everyone, my name is Grace Barnett and I am the 2026 Hobo Day Grand Poobah. I have a presentation for you guys, it's just loading, so one moment please. Good? I think so. I should have dominated, but earlier, but I think. Got it?
I made a
Okay.
copy of this.
Oh, beautiful. Thank you. So, the Hobo Day Committee. So the Hobo Day Committee is comprised of 18 college students, and of those 18, we have 3 teams. So we have parade team, marketing team, and events team. On the parade team, we have the parade assistant poobah and student entries, community entries, and dignitaries, transportation, and security coordinators. On the marketing team, we have the marketing assistant poobah, the social media, apparel, merchandise, campus outreach, and community outreach coordinators. We have the events assistant poobah, 611 Club, and Hoby Deer Prep Night coordinator, Boma Meal, Rally at the Rails, and Bonfire and Foam Over coordinator. So our meetings, so we meet as a committee in our entirety once a week. The steering team, which is made up of myself, the 3 assistant poobahs, and our advisor, meets weekly. The assistant poobahs and their respective teams meet kind of on a varying basis. It's up to that assistant poobah to run their team. So for example, the marketing team Assistant Puba, she runs her team by doing one-on-one meetings with each coordinator individually, whereas the parade team has weekly team meetings. And then I meet with our advisor weekly. We have 3 retreats. We have spring retreat, which the full committee attends. We have a summer retreat, which is just the steering team. We have fall retreat, which is once again the full committee. And then I meet with individuals and campus partners, kind of varying on the cause. So kind of depending on what needs to get done, where we're at with the university and things like that. So our main events, so we have 6 in 1 month club, which this is when you bury the razor. So you give up shaving either 6 months out from Hobo Day or 1 month. We have Hobo Gear Prep Night, which is our night where you can come and find fun, thrifty clothes like kind of what I'm wearing tonight. We get ready to celebrate Hobo Week, and then we have our Hobo Week specific events. So we have Bum Meal, which is where students are matched with a community host home and they go out and share a meal. We have Bum Over, which is where students gather to build cardboard shanties, and we have fun little mini games and things like that throughout this event. Rally at the Rails is a really good chance for students to interact with members. This occurs downtown. We shut down. We have vendors, different food options, and a band, and different games available for students. And then Bonfire, which I'm very excited to report, is outside this past year, which is so fun. This is where we burn the SD, just here north of the S-Shack. We've been so blessed to partner with UPC over the past couple of years to join their Mulligan Stew event. So students are able to go, get their bowl of stew, and then come over to the bonfire, enjoy the fire, enjoy the band, and take part in games. And then my personal favorite, which I'm definitely biased, is the parade on Saturday prior to the football game. So our GAF side of finances. So this past year, we were very fortunate to be awarded $6,100. This money went directly to the band for Rally at the Rails, the Bonfire Band, radios, and golf carts. And so student impact. So students are the heart of SCSU. Obviously, without us, SCSU wouldn't be what it is. And I've been really blessed to serve on the Hobo Day committee for these past 3 years. So I've been really fortunate to have the perspective of being able to go back to the drawing board every year and kind of look at, like, what can we make better? What do we need to improve on? What do we need to change and grow from? And it's been really special to be a part of those conversations, specifically because the students are at the heart of all those conversations. The reason we do what we do is to give the students the best Hobo Day, whole week we possibly can. And we're so blessed because of GAF that really helps elevate that and really keep students at the heart of this tradition. We're able to do that because of that. So like this past year with the band directly at Rally at the Rails and Bonfire, truly being able to elevate that for students is so important, and we wouldn't be able to do that without GAF, so we're very thankful. Additionally, it's really hard for me to encapsulate my love for Hobo Day like in words. So I did some pictures. I think it just kind of like shows the joy of the students and students from all across campus. And you may not know these people. You may be from different areas of campus, but on Hobo Day you all get together and you celebrate the love for the Jacks. We were very fortunate to have President Spirit and Vice President here join us as dignitaries. You can see them in the bottom Center for Stoffels was driving their truck. You can see our student volunteers. We're very thankful for them. We wouldn't be able to do what we do without them. We have so many people. I couldn't put them all on this slide, obviously, but we have people from Taylor Society, State-a-thon, Dr. Snow's research team, Bum Band, which is composed of members of the Pride. It's so special. We're so thankful that we're able to elevate this because of GAF. So thank you. Do you have any questions for me? Yes.
Someone, know your bias as per the committee, but what's something that you're really looking forward to, and how are you going to elevate that this year? You talked about elevating lots.
I'm really excited for Hobo Gear Prep Night specifically. We're looking at doing some like fun little twists on that, possibly doing like some pre-made outfits so students are able to come and like have an outfit ready to go for them, or possibly having different coordinators on the team kind of compose an outfit that like they can choose, if that makes sense. We're also looking at a couple other options of just like more to do at that event to really maximize it.
What are some of the other areas that you get funding besides GAF?
So we have a couple areas. We have our biggest one is probably generating revenue. We have a couple others. We're still in the transitioning phases of meeting from our past Puba. So definitely still learning more about that and uncovering that, but we're very excited to present later this week and later this month and dive deeper more into that with you guys. Yes.
You're always trying to make Hobo Day something better, and there's going to be a lot of issues with that. So what would you say is the largest issue you're trying to tackle? Is it more safety, more participation in events, more volunteers?
Yeah, I think we're always trying to grow all around and just like really being receptive to what the students want and what's like the loudest right now. We have a lot of like kind of like on the back half, like behind the scenes work. I've been really fortunate to work with Dr. Willis on a lot of policy stuff on the back end. Kind of some like nitty gritty details. I would say that's right now a passion project just as we don't have a committee yet. So we're actually initiating the new committee tonight. So then we'll be able to really get to work on the policies. Any other questions? Awesome. Thanks, Grace. Awesome. Thank you, guys.
All right, we'll move on to open forum item C, the KSDJ Student Radio Annual Presentation.
Hello everyone. So I don't have any actual formal presentation to share with you. I'm Matt Wieberding. I am the station manager for KSDJ. We do a lot of different things on campus. It's been working with the Collegian, Kojo in general, doing things like airing the sports games, whether it's basketball, volleyball, football, hockey, anything like that. And even your guys' SA meetings here, we air every Monday night. So I'm here to just answer any questions you guys might have. We're really, really grateful for the funding that you guys provide to us. We use that to pay our staff so that we can keep these services running for the community and keep student engagement up with it. So I'll just take any questions that you might have off the bat.
How many staff members do you pay?
I believe it's 6. I'm a little bit iffy on the number. We meet every week to have a discussion about whatever is going on, but mostly we function independently. So oftentimes somebody can't make one meeting. But those are details that we'll cover at this meeting coming up at the end of February.
What does your merger with the Collegian kind of look like?
So we want to obviously we want to still have some level of autonomy. We love to work with the Collegian. They've helped a lot with everything that we can do. We want to help elevate their stuff as much as we can. So a lot of what the wording that we were using is that it is Collegian Media on KSDJ. Part of that is due to just FAA things. KSDJ is our call sign, so we still have to use those sorts of things. But we're airing Collegian stories on air, things like I can't remember what it is called now. The report. Yeah, it's just the Collegian report. Yeah. The Collegian report. Any other Collegian stories, and then we work hand in hand with a lot of the advertising stuff like underwriting, sales, just general advertising.
So I kind of just want to clarify, the only thing that you spent or that you used GAF dollars on were student stipends?
Yes, currently I believe so. We're also, I believe, I have to verify before the end of this month, but I believe that we are also using some of those funds to pay other students as an additional, the same way the Collegian pays their students to write a story, we are attempting to use those funds to do that for our radio shows.
Any further questions?
So if you're using GAF money for salaries, then how do you maintain your equipment? Do you have a separate fund for that?
That is in tandem, I forgot to mention this, thank you. That is in tandem with the underwriting sales that we do. So underwriting is our form of advertisements, which fall under a slightly different category because we are not a for-profit studio, or station, I should say. That just means that we have to change the language a little bit with our ads, if you want to call them that. So with a lot of those funds, we use those funds to reinvest into the station to keep it running at a high enough level.
Thank you. All right, moving on to open forum, item D, public comments. Are there any members of the public that would like to address the Senate tonight?
Would it be possible for ping pong club to address their,
Yeah, come on up.
Okay.
Just for everyone's clarification, Ping Pong Club has to dip out a little bit sooner than expected, so we're gonna give them an opportunity for you guys to ask questions about their unfinished business item now.
Awesome. So yeah, we applied to get some money from the general allocation fund for one of the events that we had, which was a scrimmage against Carleton Ping Pong Club College. And the reason why we asked for this money was because this was for more of the general audience of students at SDSU rather than competitive members. And it was to provide an opportunity for people to participate in a competitive ping pong environment for the first time. So we requested for this fund and we were waiting. Are there any questions? Yes.
So it says here that you guys have 22 active members. Remind me again how many people are going to this tournament.
So this event already happened.
Okay.
It already occurred. It was the first weekend of school or second weekend of school. And it was open to 8 individuals. Unfortunately, 3 of the individuals that signed up had to back. So in total, we had 5, 3 people who never gone to these events before. So. Oh, yes.
How did it go then? Did everybody perform well? Did anybody win anything fun or?
Oh yeah, so it was a great event. Carleton College, very, very nice. They hosted. It was very friendly, but also competitive.
Any other questions regarding the finances? Any other questions in general for ping pong, just because this is our opportunity with them? Awesome. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, I just want to first apologize. I have an obnoxious cold that I'm getting over that doesn't seem to like when I talk out loud. So I'm going to make this short, starting with my own report. I just want to shout out any of the senators that did tabling last week. I know that GAF was not an exciting thing to do, but it was something really important that we had to do. And those, I forgot to write the list out, but you guys know who you are that participated. And I truly thank you for what you did. That just shows your effort and initiative for SA, and I can't thank you enough. Regarding GAF, we did reach our goal. We surpassed it, and then after kind of some duplicates, we just hit it right on. So before duplicates, we had just about 2,500 votes, and our goal was 2,400. So for those people that tabled on Friday and even sent out maybe an extra social media post on Thursday night, that got us through to our goal. And again, just commend yourself. I commend you. It took a lot of work, and we really appreciate it. We will be announcing the prize winners tonight individually, and then on social media, it will be separate. We have drawn them. We just need to notify them before publicly announcing them. And then just kind of an update on that reserve request. That is where that money is coming from for those prizes. I'm so sorry. Okay. On Wednesday, Vice President Sear and I met with Kendall from Parking regarding that project we were working on beginning last semester. After some university leadership feedback, we had kind of wanted to take a step back and what were we really wanting to get out of the survey? Were we wanting to get positive feedback? Were we wanting to get a curved kind of behavior? All of those things we wanted to get, we were unsure if we were going to get from a survey. There are also a lot of other surveys going on this semester that are pretty important that the university will be promoting. So we're going to shift gears a little bit towards more of an educational campaign regarding regarding parking videos. If any of us remember, I believe it was last semester, we had Tina Bergen come. The Winchroad Student Success Center has recently done some self-help videos, just quick clips made by students and staff that are attractive rather than reading a regulations article. And we're gonna see where that route takes us. Some of those topics for just like quick promotional videos would be tickets, purchasing structure, winter parking would be another big one. But kind of as for that, I would really like some feedback. Right now I'm in a little bit of an area where I think we still want to help parking and help Student Association be involved in this important issue on campus, but how we can do it in a proficient and adequate way to use our best time possible is what we're trying to figure out. So I'd take any feedback that you guys have on that. Again, our biggest thing though is that students are going to have to want to take this survey. So whatever we do, whether it be a survey or promotional videos or posters of the like, we need to kind of get that attracted to students because everyone has to park on campus. Almost everyone has to park on campus. So we just want to make sure that this universal issue is dealt with in a universal way. As for other things, I attended the House Education Committee of the South Dakota State Legislature this morning with Government Affairs Chair Hunt. She will elaborate more on that, but I again want to thank those that were able to attend our emergency meeting on Friday night regarding the opposition of House Bill 1133. Like I said, Government Affairs Chair Hunt will give you a better update on that. End of my report. Vice President Sierra?
Yep, so the slate will open up next week at meeting for the first of 3 meetings. And so with that being said, I'll probably be reaching out to everybody in the election steering committee to set up a meeting for that and then just kind of plan out our time and responsibilities throughout till the end of the election. But that's about all I got besides what Sophie had, so end report.
Chief of Staff Peterson?
I want to echo what President Spear said. Thank you so much to everyone who helped table this week and last week and hang up posters. That helped a lot, and I, for one, really appreciate it, as well as everyone else on exec. The hard work really did pay off, so good job, everybody. And I still have not posted the SHED recap video that is going to be going up this week, so look out for that. And then I also have one more Senator Spotlight to go up with the new at-larges, which that will be going up after we get new Senator headshots. So be looking out for that. End of report.
Finance Chair Delahoy?
On Tuesday, I went and presented to the CAs about the GAF survey. So I went to the CA training and talked to them about the GAF survey, had them send it out to the presidents. All the budget marathon materials now have been finalized, so we are all good to go for budget marathon. For anybody not on finance committee and wondering, budget marathon is February 27th and 28th. And that's when all the clubs will come and present to us about their budgets that are on our general activity fee, general budget. Worked on GAF prizes and working on finalizing, getting all that paperwork done. And then I amended the agenda at the beginning to introduce the budget for SA's internal budget. So this will go to the budget marathon eventually, but we're kind of wanting to introduce a little bit newer policy. And we're going to see if we'll put it into our bylaws or not. For now, we're just going to try it out, where we actually have the Senate approve our internal budget versus in previous years where it's just been made by the executive team and then brought to the Finance Committee and Budget Marathon. So I encourage you to take some time eventually to look at that and just go line item by line item and see kind of what we're spending our internal budget on. And then we'll officially vote on that next week, and then it'll go to Budget Marathon and follow the process out. And Finance Committee will meet this week. We're meeting this week, 7 p.m. Wednesday. Report.
Government Affairs Chair Hunt.
On Tuesday, I met with the mayor for our monthly meeting. He's really excited. There's a few new businesses coming to Brookings. He has not announced them yet, so I don't know what they are either. Brookings PD also voted on a new building location that will be going to over by the Dakota Bank Center. It's going out to bid this year, and then hopefully it'll start building next year. And then Student Promotion Fund Committee met on Wednesday. We finalized our changes to our application process and criteria,
and we have a few organizations who are applying for that already. And then Government Affairs Committee also met last week on Thursday. We voted in opposition for House Bill 1133, so that emergency meeting was regarding that. Thank you all for who attended. And then, as President Spear said, her and I attended the House Education Committee this morning online. I testified in opposition to House Bill 1133, and it did, in a 9-6 vote, get moved to the 41st day, and moving a bill to the 41st day effectively kills the bill. There are only 38 days in a legislative session in South Dakota, so it will not move past that. End of report.
Communications, Chair Ringenberg.
The route report was sent out this morning. There will be a communications committee meeting tomorrow at 6 in the conference room. I received information about the All States Leadership Summit in Washington, D.C. on May 21st through 25th. Please let me know if you'd like to hear more information about that. And then headshots will be this weekend, either Friday at 5 or Saturday at 10. If you haven't filled out the poll yet, please fill that out and try to keep those time slots open. End of report.
Diversity Liaison, Alex.
Yeah, happy Black History Month. Yeah, February is nationally recognized as Black History Month, and this year is the 100th anniversary of recognizing it. And I just want to invite all of you to some events that BSA will be hosting this month. Tomorrow we have the Tunnel of Awareness from 11 to 2 in the VBR, and several student orgs will be presenting. And then we also have the Soul Food Luncheon at the end of the month on the 27th and the SEC from 11 to whenever the food is gone. And also next week, Sunday on the 8th, the Bangladesh Students Association will be hosting their Bangladeshi night from 6 to 8. And I'll be sending out ticket information. And just a reminder to all senators, these events do count as office hours, so just another encouragement to go.
Moving on to ex officios, beginning with AFA, AISA.
Kami Kakiaki, Sayawan, Chiyan, Kami, Smith, and Akiaki. Hello everyone, it's good to see you all. My name is Nadia Smith. I'm the new ex officio for ESA. Our president Alejandra will be updating now. Since last month, we had a successful Indian taco sale on January 27th. And we have people connected to the next Indian. And the speaking focused on American Indian. We're part of the Tunnel of Awareness tomorrow. Our highlights by what chiefs are important. On Tuesday, we will have our Chiefs board meeting, and this week's meeting will be celebrating February 1st. Our Chief is in February. Airport.
BSA.
First off, happy Black History Month. We're on Friday. We're going to, I can never say the school name. Flan. I'm not even gonna try to say it, but we're going there to teach the little kids about Black History Month and read stories to them. And then we're gonna have a collaboration with CAFS to bring a speaker named Brandy Phipps. We don't know when we'll have that, but we're gonna bring her to talk about just agricultural things and a report.
GSA.
We will be having our regular meeting this week on Wednesday, and we have a couple dates planned for rescheduling karaoke night. And a report.
Hero.
We have our ballroom dance event next Tuesday at 7 p.m. in the ballroom.
Honors College.
The Honors College Student Organization will be hosting a Palentine's event that is next Tuesday, February 10th from 7 to 9 p.m. in the lower level of Honors Hall. There'll be snacks, some drinks, card making, the works, a tattoo bar. A temporary tattoo bar is in the works. So keep your eyes out for those posters coming soon. End of report.
IRC.
So we're collaborating with the Office of International Affairs for the Valentine's Day event, which will be next Friday the 13th, sometime in the evening. Location and venue, it's the same thing, sorry. Location and time to be confirmed. And also Bangladeshi Student Association, as mentioned. they're hosting their Bangladesh night this Sunday, 6 to 8 p.m. And yeah, tickets $18 for adults and $15 for students. Any child 12 years and under are free. So yeah, end of report.
Lassa?
LASA will also be supporting Black History Month by participating in the Tunnel of Awareness, and then we'll have our normal meeting on Thursday.
RHA?
We approved some funds for State-a-thon to use during an event that they have this upcoming Thursday. And we discussed and ironed out details for our Stuff Up Blush Valentine's event taking place in the Union on February 12th at 8 p.m. We'll also be tabling next week from Monday from 11 to 12, where we invite all residents to share feedback with us surrounding residential housing and etc. And for report.
Unified Council?
Most of the fraternities have finished up with their rush weeks. It's fun couple of weeks, a lot of engagement with the community. Started putting bids in on potential new members, so hopefully we can continue to see a growth in fraternity life here at SDSU. The Interfraternity Council Instagram has also started a weekly spotlight. Right now it's starting with all the chapter presidents and going to be moving to more recognized individuals. And finally, we've started working on monthly fraternity events to help just increase overall chapter collaboration.
Unified Council?
Yes, so the Panhellenic Council hosted a successful recruitment event this last Tuesday, and then individual chapters hosted recruitment events end of last week, and then they also have some more this week. So check those out. I believe there's posters posted around campus. Additionally, as I mentioned last week, we were sending 4 students and an advisor to the AFLV Leadership Conference in Indianapolis. They attended several workshops related to FSL, but also professional development in general. And we were also very, very excited to announce that previous ex officio and current IFC president, Will Goldhammer, took first place nationally in a case study that involved risk management and planning. So that was great SDSU representation. We won that case study over USD, so we were pretty excited about that. And then also I'm introducing Abby Vifqueen. She's going to be our new ex officio for the Panhellenic Council or United Council. So she'll be attending meetings from now on. End of report.
And UPC?
So our event last Friday at the Art Museum was really successful. We had around 70 students show up. And tonight, which it just finished at 8, we had our Perler Bead Magnet Night. While I was down there, it looked like lots of people were doing that, so that was going well. And our next event is on February 14th, and we are bringing students to Moulin Rouge in Sioux Falls. And I'm pretty sure the sign up is, we'll have posters up tomorrow, so you should be able to sign up with the QR code there. And also throughout February, we are having a competition for students to showcase campus life, community spirit, academics, or any aspects of SDSU experience in like a 3 to 6 minute video. And so those can be submitted up to February 28th. And the first place prize is $250. Yeah, end of report.
Advisor Bylander?
I don't know what all goes into what you guys do when you advocate for things like at the state level, but props to that as somebody who has to advocate in his role and occasionally gets to lobby in his free time and not on grant dollars. I know it takes a lot of work sometimes, right? So props to you guys for putting in the work to make your voices heard on that bill. So, end of report.
Advisor Schmidt?
I have a similar comment because I've been here long enough that I wanted to commend you guys on your nimbleness. In the past, sometimes these bills have come up, the SA hasn't been able to meet, they go by, and the SA doesn't get their chance to chime in. So glad you guys had that meeting and staying on top of things. It's difficult to do in this legislative session because it goes so fast in South Dakota. And so stay on top of things, good job, and yeah, keep on keeping on. End of report.
Advisor Willis?
I will ditto that and then also share that Representative DeGroot did reach out specifically and say thank you to both of you for presenting and for advocating for your position at the hearing this morning. Said you did a really good job, and I believe you were the only students through the Board of Regents that presented. Is that correct? No? Okay. All right.
did say though that SDSU did a great job, so want to say congratulations on that. And then the last thing is, of course, our country has turned 250 years old, and there are lots of celebrations that are happening and scheduled to happen not only across the country but within our state and within the university. And so new senators that haven't maybe written a commemoration, or maybe there's a resolution you want to write in support of some of the programs and services and things that we will be doing as a university over the course of this year, or just to commemorate the country turning 250, be a great opportunity to partner and do something around that. So get your resolution writing or commemoration writing skills ready to go. But the university is working collaboratively to kind of brand some programs around that 250 year celebration and create a website that will kind of bring all of those things together in one location. End of report.
Any committees that would like to report out tonight? Chief Step Peterson?
The library committee met last week on Tuesday, and I want to share with everyone that there is a new agreement that they signed called the Wiley Read and Publish Agreement, which means that the university will now have about 1,300 journals with free access, which is really awesome. I believe this added 200 journals, if I'm correct. You might remember better than I did. I think it was 200.
Yeah.
And so yeah, now in total there's about 1,300 journals, and then also publishing into those 1,300 journals is free, which is a really amazing thing. So they are continuing to work to get rid of those fees for students. And then also something that I was really excited about is that there is now a textbook guide, since there are so many different ways for students to access their textbooks, whether it's online or a physical textbook. There are multiple ways. So the Winchard Student Success Center, they created a guide, and I have a copy of that. Unfortunately, I didn't bring it with me today, but I'm going to get a few copies in the office. So if anybody asks us, you can give them a copy of that. They're also working on creating videos to go with those self-help videos. They're working on getting it into D2L somehow. They're not sure how they're going to do that yet, but hopefully that will be there by next semester. And then also they're just looking for ways to get that information out to students, this new guide, because they want everyone to know about it. Even I get confused about textbooks sometimes. So if you guys have any suggestions, let me know or let them know. They're working on social media, but there are also other ways. So if you have any ideas, let me know. And then finally, the library is now opening at noon on Sundays. So that is very exciting, an hour earlier. That's something that has been in discussion for a long time. So go to the library at noon on Sundays.
Other committees that would like to report out tonight? Senator Smith.
On January 28th, the International Affairs Committee met. Gabriel Hurt, he's a mental health counselor at the Wellness Center. He discussed mental health during Ramadan. This is from February 17th to March 19th. For those of you who don't know, this is fasting during daylight hours. So from dawn to dusk, this, you're fasting. This is Islamic religion. But he discussed different resources you could have and how it affects students. In this presentation he gave, he's hoping to give it to the entire university or email it out at least. And then we also discussed the travel ban from 35 different countries with visas that's going to affect. Then admissions is reaching out to international students and who would be affected by this travel ban and trying to figure out a plan of action in case anything happens. And the Information Technologies Committee also met on January 29th. We elected a new vice chair of Ella Peterson. And then we discussed the ADA compliance for web pages and anything on the internet, which we had a presentation about last semester, and a report.
Other committees? Senator Mollison.
Diversity and inclusion met last Thursday. And we briefly discussed kind of what was already spoken about with Black History Month. We met with members of BSA. There's a tunnel of awareness tomorrow going on, and then there is a soul food luncheon at the end of the month. Just kind of repeating what we've already talked about. We talked about what we wanted for the committee in general, and
Other committees. Senator Mollison.
Yes, and then the Access, Opportunity, and Belonging Committee also met last Tuesday and over Zoom, and we talked briefly about what we are going to be doing for moving forward with what the committee's new mission is. Also, the campus climate survey was sent out to everyone's emails, and they would really like for that to be filled out. Just to kind of gauge culture satisfaction rates. And then we're gonna meet again to talk about our communication plans and how to take action based off of the results of that survey moving forward. So, end of report.
Other committees to report out tonight. Any questions for any of the reports? Senator Roca?
Yeah, I have a question for you, Madam President. Can you talk about how was the turnover for the GAF, like, percent?
Like the approval rating?
Yeah.
I did not calculate it this morning. Dr. Willis will check on that right now. However, we were consistently at 87% the entire week. I would assume that it's still at that. I don't have the number in front of me right now, though.
Yep, based on the final results, we had a response rate of 22.4% of our spring enrollment at 2547 for the number of students, and support was 86.9% in support of the reallocation plan that Students Association brought forward.
Any other questions for the committee or for any reports? I would just ask that the AISA ex officio, since you're new, and also UPC, or not UPC, Unified Council, to come up to Chief of Staff Peterson so we can clarify your reports and then also make sure you're on our roster correctly. Any other? Finance or Delahoyd?
Senator Christoffels, where's the mug we were promised this week?
Ooh, guys, I'm so sorry, but I had a busy weekend and I forgot the mug, so.
Disappointing. Very disappointing. We were really hoping to have the parking regulations mug at our meeting joining us, but unfortunately we do not due to Senator Christoffel's forgetfulness. Any other questions for reports tonight? All right, let's move on to unfinished business, beginning with the Flying Jacks new venture. Chief Staff Peterson, would you please introduce this item?
The Flying Jacks Club's new venture fund request, Wednesday, January 14th, 2026. The Finance Committee met with representatives from the Flying Jacks Club on Wednesday, January 14th, 2026 at 8 p.m. in the Peterson Conference Room. In attendance was Finance Chair Delahoyd, Senators Anderson, Shrestha, Sharples-Schmidt, Wallen, Roca, Christoffels, Foley, Chief of Staff Peterson, Vice President Sierra, and President Spear. After discussion with the Flying Jacks Club's representatives, the Finance Committee arrived at a unanimous recommendation of approving Flying Jacks Club's new venture application, awarding them an amount of $0 from the fiscal year 26 new venture fund. With the approval of the Senate, Flying Jacks Club will be placed on the general budget starting in fiscal year 27, which runs from July 1st, 2026 through June 30th, 2027. The amount awarded to Flying Jacks Club for fiscal year 27 and each fiscal year following will be decided during the general budget allocation process that takes place each spring for the next fiscal year. Any questions or concerns should be directed to Finance Chair Delahoyd.
Is there a motion to approve? Finance Chair Delahoyd.
I move to approve this on behalf of the Finance Committee.
All right, Finance Chair Delahoyd, first right to debate.
We do have a representative here from the Flying Jacks Club if we have any questions. Zach is here with us, but this is just a club that helps represent the aviation major here on campus. So they really do a lot to help further, I guess, the aviation major. They have speakers come in from different commercial airlines, from military, and from all sorts of different areas. And then they also go to an event each year, which is like the biggest air show in the world. And they go to that. And so this is just to kind of help them with their yearly expenses. They're trying to go to a big air show.
Advisor Bylander, I think you're itching for a question.
No, sorry.
Okay.
Just where my hand was, I'll lean back.
I apologize. Any other questions that are so excited to ask?
It's like an election.
Any further discussion on the Flying Jacks New Venture application? All right, seeing none, we'll take this to a roll call vote. Chief Staff Peterson, would you please call the roll?
Senators Anderson, Bolweg, abstains. Bry, Christoffels, Derenge, Foley, Holland, Campson, Catanum, Lopez, Mollison, Podell, Roca, Sharples Schmidt, Shrestha, Siwa Cody abstains. Sleep, Smith, Wallen, Warfa, Finance Chair Delahoyd, Chief of Staff Peterson, aye. Vice President Zero.
The ayes have it, and the Flying Jacks New Venture application is approved. Great, moving on to unfinished business item B, the Ping Pong Club Special Allocation. Chief of Staff Peterson, would you please introduce this item?
Ping Pong Club's Special Allocation Fund Request, Wednesday, January 14th, 2026. The Finance Committee met with representatives from the Ping Pong Club on Wednesday, January 14th, 2026 at 8 p.m. in the Peterson Conference Room. In attendance was Finance Chair Delahoyd, Senators Anderson, Shrestha, Sharples Schmidt, Wallen, Roca, Christoffels, Foley, Chief of Staff Peterson, Vice President Sierra, and President Spear. After discussion with the Ping Pong Club representatives, the Finance Committee arrived at a recommendation of approving Ping Pong Club's special allocation application, awarding them an amount of $300 from the fiscal year 26 special allocation fund of $8,500, leaving a remaining balance, if approved by the Senate, of $1,400 for the remainder of fiscal year 27, which runs from July 1st, 2025 through June 30th, 2026. Any questions or concerns should be directed to Finance Chair Delahoyd.
Is there a motion to approve? Finance Chair Delahoyd.
I move to approve this on behalf of the Finance Committee.
Finance Chair Delahoyd, first right to debate.
Yeah, so as you heard earlier, he talked a little bit about it. They went to Carleton College, and they competed in ping pong against them. It sounds like there's about 5 of them that went, and so they're wanting some money to help cover the travel costs for them. So we came to a number of $300 just to help kind of with those motor pool expenses. I will note with our $1,400 remaining, we also have about $1,400 in our new venture fund, and so one special allocation we normally get each year is from the Cafes Prexy Council for Ag Week. So we are planning right now, they have submitted a new venture application, we'll meet on that soon, to use our $1,400 kind of remaining in there instead of allocating it as a special allocation, to use it as the new venture and then to also have them on our budget instead of them submitting an application each year. So that's going to be something that'll be coming forward soon. So I'm not super worried about only having $1,400 left in there, as I don't foresee any, I guess, annual people coming to us for funds, but we still are open for anyone else that would like to.
Further discussion? Seeing none, we'll take this to a roll call vote. Chief of Staff Peterson, would you please call the roll?
Vice President Sierra.
Aye.
Chief of Staff Peterson, aye. Finance Chair Delahoyd.
Aye.
Senators Warfa.
Aye.
Wallen.
Aye.
Smith.
Aye.
Sleep.
Aye.
Siwa Cody abstains. Shrestha.
Aye.
Sharples Schmidt. Roca.
Aye.
Podell.
Aye.
Mollison.
Aye.
Lopez.
Aye.
Catanum. Campson.
Aye.
Holland.
Aye.
Foley.
Aye.
Derenge.
Aye.
Christoffels.
Aye.
Bry.
Aye.
Bolweg abstains. Anderson.
And the ayes have it. The Ping Pong Club special allocation request is approved. All right, moving on to unfinished business item C, the 2025 updated general activity fee budgeting guidelines. Chief of Staff Peterson, would you please introduce just that first paragraph?
On September 22nd, 2025, the SDSU Students Association passed Resolution 25-2-R titled South Dakota State University Students Association commits to establishing a temporary task force on internal financial reform. This task force identified several priorities, one being to review and reform the current general activity fee budgeting guidelines to match present financial practices. Below are the revised GAF budgeting guidelines to be presented to the Students Association Senate University Activity Fee and Budget Committee, Vice President Michaela Willis, and finally, President Barry Dunn.
Is there a motion to approve? Finance Chair Delahoyd.
So moved.
Second.
Finance Chair Delahoyd, first right to debate.
Yeah, so this is, like I kind of said last week, this helps align us with what we've had in previous years and kind of what we've been doing and just puts it on paper. So right now, our practices don't necessarily follow what's in here, so now we're gonna make it, they do follow that and we're up to date.
Further discussion. I'd just like to make one point. If we could scroll down to the GAF dollars may not fund. Last week I had mentioned a friendly amendment to this section. However, I unfortunately did not bring the specific wording in with me. So this is a kind of a weird ask, but I would just like everyone to kind of objectively read that point number 5. And does it make sense just grammatically? Yeah. Yeah? Makes sense? Dr. Schmidt, did you say it doesn't make sense?
No. So the first part of that is it's organizations may not fund ... and then it's all these points. So you have to put that right in front of it. So it's organizations or GAF dollars may not fund, and then it's organizations that use funding prohibited by. It is a little tricky in the wording there, but.
Why do you have to because? I get that first part.
So maybe just omit because.
I'm not suggesting changes, I'm just trying to
Sorry.
understand.
No change was suggested, but I did hear a comment on the word because.
What if
Senators.
you use as? Would the word as be better?
Organizations that use funding are.
You're trying to rationalize it
Yeah.
or explain the rationalization?
Yeah.
As it would be used for the purpose.
Senator Christophos.
Friendly amendment to change the word because to as.
As it would.
Second.
Friendly amendment to change the word.
I get it.
So it would read, organizations that use funding prohibited by SD Codified Law 122720 because, as it will be used for the promotion or opposition.
I'd say as it would.
As it
If you're
would
explaining it,
be
as it would
used.
be used for the- yeah. Right?
Oh, I'm sorry, Dr. Orlis.
Random. So if this is general activity fee dollars may not fund organizations that use funding, you can still fund the organizations. You just can't fund activities or events prohibited by South Dakota codified law as it will be. So I don't know that you want to exclude organizations that fund those kinds of things because they can use other funding for that.
So do you want to use, say, activities instead of organizations?
Yeah, that's why I wonder if it should be. Anyway, I know I reviewed this and I added the laws from board or the rules from board policy in there, but as I read it there,
So you
I
think
feel like
we're-
you don't
Well-
want to fund the organizations.
I guess this will be not a suggestion, but what it said was that the organizations would not be funded. As you can see in the black, that's what it did say. So if that's something that we would want to change, that would need to be a decision to change. You can still fund an organization that participates in the promotion or opposition of a particular candidate, but you may not fund any event or activities that directly promote or oppose a candidate. Dr. Schmidt.
Instead, I think as isn't the right word there either. I think since would probably be.
Okay. So right now on the floor, we have an amendment for as, and we have a friendly suggestion to say as it would be. We would need to vote on this amendment in order to move to a different one. This is going to get a little parley pro. We can amend an amendment, but only one time.
Can I maybe add a friendly? I don't think you need as it will be at all. I think prohibited by South Dakota codified law, used for the promotion.
Senator Mollison, do you remember what we said in the vehicle on our way back? Because we had this all figured out and I didn't write it down.
I can't remember exactly what we talked about.
Finance for
I
Delhood.
think the first part too should be what it says under 6 to start. Organizations using funding, not organizations that use funding, just so that it still allows you to be able to fund the organization. So as it sounds, it's kind of something you can't fund that on its own.
Yep. Yeah, so that was. That would be. We would need to. So the amendment on the floor is to change because to as. That is what we should vote on before we move on to a different item of business. Unless we want to amend the amendment.
It can also be friendly. Withdraw my amendment.
Okay, there was a withdrawn amendment. Finance Chair Delahoyd.
I moved to table this to next week where we can have the official wording put out so we have some time to meet the advisors and make sure we have it exact.
Second.
To postpone.
Definitely.
Postpone definitely to next
Definitely
week.
to next week.
Next meeting, February 9th, 2026 was when this would be, what was the, I'm sorry, the word is not coming to my brain. What was that? Postponed, yep, that. Motioned and seconded. We're gonna do a voice vote for this. All those in favor of tabling this to get the correct language, oh my gosh, postponing, definitely, till February 9th on 2026. Under unfinished business, please signify by saying aye. Aye. All opposed? All right, we're gonna postpone this definitely to next week. Appreciate your patience with that one. Moving on to unfinished business, item D, commemoration 25-3-C. Chief Staff Peterson, would you please introduce this item?
Commemoration 25-3-C. Title of commemoration reads, the South Dakota State University Students Association recognizes February 1st to February 28th as Black History Month, celebrating and honoring the month by participating in events and attending meetings hosted by the Black Students Alliance and other organizations on campus. Prime sponsor includes Diversity Liaison Alex. Sponsors include President Spear, Vice President Sierra, Chief of Staff Peterson, Finance Chair Delahoyd, Government Affairs Chair Hunt, Communications Chair Ringenberg, Senators Christoffels, Katanam, Mollison, and Lopez.
Is there a motion to approve? Or I'm sorry, would anyone request this item be read in full? It's been requested. Chief Staff Peterson.
Commemoration 25-3-C. Title of commemoration reads, the South Dakota State University Students Association recognizes February 1st to February 28th as Black History Month, celebrating and honoring the month by participating in events and attending meetings hosted by the Black Students Alliance and other organizations on campus. Whereas the SDSU Students Association partakes in events during Black History Month to learn and enjoy the culture, and whereas the Student Engagement Center is home to the Black Students Alliance on campus, and whereas African American and Black leaders have contributed immensely to the rich culture and have made long-lasting impacts and contributions to science, arts, civil rights, and literature that are prevalent in the United States, and whereas Black History Month was created to focus attention on the contributions of African Americans to the United States. It honors all Black people from all periods of U.S. history, from the enslaved people first brought over from Africa in the early 17th century to African Americans living in the United States today. And whereas the Black Students Alliance will be hosting the Tunnel of Awareness on February 3rd in the Volsdorf Ballroom from 11 a.m. to 3 p.m. to bring awareness to various cultures including Black, Latinx, Indigenous, disabled persons, etc., and their history of struggles and perseverance in the United States. And whereas the Black Student the Black Students Alliance will be hosting their annual Soul Food Luncheon on February 27th from 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. in the Student Engagement Center to share some cultural dishes. And whereas, despite enduring the struggles of slavery, segregation, racism, and other forms of oppression in America, Black and African Americans continue to endure and persevere. And whereas South Dakota State University strives to create a space of inclusivity and belonging despite differences. Therefore, be it commemorated, the South Dakota State University Students Association recognizes February 1st to February 28th as Black History Month and encourages all students and faculty to partake in events to learn about the ongoing history and to also enjoy the different aspects of the diverse culture by going to events hosted by the Black Students Alliance on campus.
Is there a motion to approve? Senator Christoffels.
Moved.
Second.
Senator Christoffels, first right.
Yeah, I mean, considering it's already the second day of Black History Month, I think it's important that everybody focus on this. Also, I think it's important everybody goes to the Tunnel of Awareness event and the Soul Food Luncheon, because I feel like it's gonna be some really tasty food there. And it's really important for us to commemorate all Black students and people that have contributed to the U.S. over these years. So,
Further discussion. Diversity liaison.
yeah, like Senator Christoffel said, Black history has been around for a long time, from slavery to segregation, to other pivotal events that have happened and have shaped American culture. Throughout the years, we've seen that it's not the only thing that Black history is about. You know, it's about resilience, determination in times of uncertainty and difficulty. And yeah, supporting this commemoration just reaffirms all the contributions that Black Americans and African Americans have made and continue to make in this country.
Further discussion. Seeing none, Chief of Staff Peterson will take this to a roll call vote.
Senators Anderson,
Aye.
Bolweg abstains, Fry,
Aye.
Christoffels,
Aye.
Derenge,
Aye.
Foley,
Aye.
Holland,
Aye.
Campson,
Aye.
Catanum,
Aye.
Lopez,
Aye.
Mullison,
Aye.
Podell,
Aye.
Roca,
Aye.
Sharples Schmidt,
Aye.
Shrestha,
Aye.
Siwa Cody abstains, Sleep,
Aye.
Smith,
Aye.
Wallen,
Aye.
Warfa,
Aye.
Finance Chair Delahoyd,
Aye.
Chief of Staff Peterson, aye, Vice President Sierra.
The ayes have it, and commemoration 25-3-C is approved. All right, moving on to new business. Item A, the fiscal year 27 budget. I apologize, I'm not familiar with, SA budget recommendation. Chief Staff Pearson, would you please introduce just the cover letter?
Dear Senators, in collaboration with the executive team, I am pleased to formally submit the proposed budget for the South Dakota State University Students Association for fiscal year 2027, July 1st, 2026 to June 30th, 2027. This proposal outlines a recommended annual allocation of $44,705, representing a nominal increase of $1 over the approved budget for fiscal year 2026. This figure reflects our commitment to fiscal continuity while ensuring the Students Association remains positioned to serve the student body effectively. The detailed breakdown of this recommendation is displayed below for your review and consideration. Respectfully, Dominic Delahoyd, Finance Chair, Students Association.
We will be voting on this next week, but are there any initial questions in the format on this one? Finance Chair Delahoyd.
Just for clarification, it's $1. It doesn't bother me that it was 704 and not 705.
If you have any further questions on the budget, we are open to feedback and would like your questions to know what we're spending on. Like Finance Chair Delahoyd, this is our first time really passing it through the Senate formally before we bring it to Budget Marathon, so we would like your feedback why we're doing it. All right. Any further questions? Moving on to topics for future discussion. Any topics for future discussion? Moving on to announcements. Any announcements? Please go to the Tunnel of Awareness tomorrow. I'm going to try my best to make it, get out of lab early. Last year I went. It was a really great experience. And the Soul Food Luncheon, I still remember the Hush Puppies. So strongly recommend going to that too. Any further announcements?
Go anywhere, yeah.
All right, motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Senator Mollison.
So moved. Second.
All those in favor of adjourning, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed? We are adjourned. Thank you, everybody.